Hello friends, this is Nick from NLB Solutions, and today I'm going to show you the fun topic of configuring DFS on Windows Server 2012 R2. I'm going to start the video by presenting a new hard disk to my virtual servers. Currently I have two virtual servers, DFSR01 and DFSR02. I'm going to use these virtual servers to store user data on them and to replicate the data. So I'm going to show you how you can configure a new partition that is dedicated for user data. And after that we are going to proceed with installing the DFS Namespace and DFS Replication roles on both servers. And I'm going to show you the quick overview of the DFS management console, and I'm going to start by configuring home folders DFS namespace. So I'm going to use the home folders idea to show you how you can help your users to have a better storage solution for their files and folders and important information. So instead of storing everything locally on every single computer, they can use the home folders share to store their data. And we're going to look into the DFS root links and the type of the DFS namespace. We have to choose from domain-based or standalone. So I'm going to choose domain-based as currently my environment has a domain. After that I'm going to configure the share permissions for the namespace, and I'm going to create two home folders for Tom and Anna, who are going to be my colleagues. After creating the folders for Tom and Anna, I'm going to configure the home folder structure on my user data partition, and I'm going to configure the permissions so that every single share folder has unique permissions and the users cannot browse to through other users' data. And after we are done with the namespace, I'm going to configure a DFS replication between my two servers. I'm going to specify the members, DFSR01 and 02. I'm going to specify the DFS replication topology and specify the bandwidth and schedule. So I can, for example, I can specify that during the day my replication will use only half of my bandwidth, and during the out of hours it can use the full capacity of the bandwidth. And at the end we are going to speak about the staging quota and what considerations and what issues could that make to your replication. At the end I'm going to use my Windows 10 machine to map the home folder for Anna, and we'll show you how the DFS namespace for home folders work. So sit back and enjoy the demonstration. First I'm going to log into my DFS server 01. I'm going to use the NLB admin account. The server manager dashboard will load. At the same time while this is loading, I'm going to log into my second DFS server and connect to it. And what I did here is I've already renamed the server so it can be a part of my naming convention. I've joined that server to the domain. I've assigned the server with a static IP address which corresponds to my network addresses. The same is with the second DFS server. I've renamed that to NLB-DFSR-02. I've joined that to the domain. I've assigned a static IP address for that server. And one common thing that I did on both servers is I've turned off the domain firewall so that the servers can communicate without any issues and without any packages being blocked. So I'm going to start with DFS1. What we need to do, because I don't want my DFS shared drives and namespaces to be on the C drive where the operating system is, and this is pretty mandatory thing. if you want to build a production environment, and if you want that to be as Microsoft recommends and as all of the IT professionals recommend, try to separate all of the documents and files and programs away from the operating system partition. So I'm going to leave that local C partition to the operating system only, and I'm going to create another partition that I'm going to use to share my folders and drives. So what I did here is I've attached another disk to my virtual machines, and this is a 20 gig disk. You can see that currently disk 1 is unknown and offline. So what we need to do first is we need to bring that disk online. It's not initialized, but we can initialize the disk after that. And you need to use the master boot record. GPT partition table is the newer method, but we are going to stick with master boot and click OK. So it's now a basic online disk, but still the space is unallocated, so we cannot store anything there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new simple volume, and we'll use all the space for that volume, and we'll name that volume, for example, E. So click next. The file system would be NTFS because we want that. The other options are the FAT32, which is the older version of the partitioning method, which does not provide us the right to use NTFS permissions, and there is not enough security with that, so you don't need it. And the REFS is the new partitioning method that is provided by Microsoft. You can read more on TechNet about it. I'm going to stick with NTFS for now. The allocation unit would be the default one, and the label would be, for example, shared or only data. Data is fine. We're going to perform a quick format and click next. We're going to finalize the settings. It's going to format the disk. That would appear here. I will click cancel because I already formatted the disk, and now we have a healthy new data E partition. I'm going to do the same for the second server, so I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to proceed with my next steps of configuring DFS next. Now that I have data E disk partition created on both my servers, the DFSR02 and DFSR01, I'm going to continue with installing the DFSR roles on my both servers. Here you can see that under all servers I've went ahead and added the two servers so I can control them, and I can install the features using only one server. I'm going to start with DFS01. It's a role-based feature, and here you can specify which server you want to install the role on. I'm going to choose the first one, and under File and Storage Services, and then File and iSCSI Services, you will see the DFS Namespaces and DFS Replication. We need to select those. It will automatically add the DFS management tools and other additional features, DFS Replication as well. I'm going to click next. Once again, next. The confirmation, you will see what it will install, and I can click install to that. Okay. At the same time, I will try to do the same for the second server, role-based, the second one. Again, File and Storage Services, and then go to Namespaces, add the features, DFS Replication, click next, next, and install. So now at the same time you can see how easy it is to install multiple servers from a single location. Just add them here and you can control basically most of the things with the servers. So Until this is done, I'm going to pause the video once again, and when we are finished with the installation, I'm going to continue. After my installation is completed, I'm going to close both wizards, and I'm going to use only DFS 01 to configure most of the settings. Here you can see that the installation is complete. So if you go to Tools, you will see that now we have the DFS Management Console installed. So if you open that, you will see that on the left side we have the Namespaces option and the Replication option. So the Namespaces will provide us with the functionality to store different shared folders within one namespace so that it can be easily accessed by your users, and of course you can use a namespace to map home folders for users, and that can be done really easily by group policy. So instead of all the users writing the name of the server and then checking the shared folder, they can use only one namespace name to and in there you will have all of the different shared folders on different servers. So what we need to do here is we need to create a new namespace. So if you right click on Namespaces and choose the option New Namespace, the first option you will have to select the server that is going to be the namespace server. So it's going to be NLB-DFSR01 and click Next. The next option will be the namespace and permission settings for that namespace. So I'm going to create, just to show you how you can create a home folder, and I'm going to name it Home Folders. And under that you can see the Edit Settings. So in here you will have several options. The shared folder that will be created is going to be called the Home Folders, and the links that are connecting all of the other shared folders are going to be stored under the CDFS routes. You can specify another location for the DFS routes, but as these are just links, it will not take a lot of space, so I can use my C drive to store the DFS route links there. Under that you can see the permissions that you can assign to the links. So I'm going to assign full access permissions for the admins and other users to have read and write permissions. Basically the links will help the users to locate their shared folders within different servers in the environment. So I'm going to click OK to this, click Next. The next option will be the namespace type. In here you can specify if you want to have a domain-based namespace or standalone. A domain-based namespace is used with interaction with Active Directory, so that instead of you can see on the previews there are really good examples. In the preview, if we create a namespace for the domain-based, all my users will only have to use the nlblab.com and then slash, and they can access the namespace from there. So this can be used to map the home folders really easily from group policy on a later state. Instead, if you don't have a domain currently, you can use the standalone namespace, but here you can see that they need to specify the name of the server, so we need to remove this functionality where the user has to remember all the different file servers in your domain, and instead we are going to use the one single domain where hopefully every single user knows in which company they are working. So let me click Next. It will provide me a summary, and I will click Create. So I've successfully created the namespace. I will click Close to this one, and if I expand the namespaces on the left side, I can see that I have the nlb.com home folders namespace. So this namespace will be available over the network. So if you click Run and type nlb lab home folders, press OK, you will see that currently this namespace is available over the network, but it's empty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my first home folder. You can do this by right-clicking on the namespace and new folder, and I'm going to name that Tom. Tom is going to be a user that is working in my company, and I'm going to add the folder target for Tom shared folder. So I'm going to do this by writing nlb -dfsr and then 01, and then the folders, the shared folder that I want to create for Tom is going to be named home folders, and I'm going to click OK, and it will say that the home folders does not exist if I want to create it, so I'm going to accept that, and it will bring another window where you will have to create the share as it is not existent at the moment. So the local path of the shared folder is going to be my E drive. There all the users will store all of their information, and we'll use that information later to replicate to my DFS 02. So I'm going to make the new folder and call that home folders, and in there I'm going to click OK. So the share name is going to be home folders, the local path of the shared folder is going to be named home folders on my E drive, and I'm going to specify the permissions. Administrators will have full access, other users will have read and write permissions. Click OK. So let me edit that and add Tom, because I want Tom to have his specific folder there. So after I press OK, it will create the shared folder for Tom. So if I go to my computer, browse my data drive, open the home folders, I can see that I have Tom and his own home folder under there. So what I'll do next is I'm going to create another user that is going to be called Anna, and I'm going to add another folder for Anna, which is going to be, and then shared folders, I'm sorry, home folders, and then Anna. Press OK. It will say that it does not exist and I want to create it. Okay, and press OK. And now Anna and Tom both have home folders that are linked to my DFS namespace under my local E drive. So if I again go ahead and open my namespace, my shared namespace, I can see that Anna and Tom have links, and if you double click on the link, you will see that it's redirecting me to the physical location, which is located on DFS 01 on my data E drive. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to configure the permissions for both Tom and Anna. So for Anna, I'm going to go to properties and then security, because currently the home folders home folders folder is providing all the users with read and read permissions. Anna's folder will be visible for other users. So what I need to do is I'm going to change the permissions, and I'm going to disable the inheritance from the parent folder, and we'll copy all the permissions from the parent to the subfolder. So now we have the administrator with full control, the system, the creator owner, and the users. So I want to remove the users and just add Anna. So I'm going to provide Anna with read and write and modify permissions, and I'm going to click OK. and then OK once again, and then OK. So now Anna will be the only person that is able to open this folder. If I click continue, my administrator account will provide permissions to itself. So yeah, now Tom, for example, won't be able to access Anna's home folder, so he won't be able to steal any important documents. So I'm going to do the same for Tom now. So I'm going to right click on Tom's folder, click properties, then security, and I can see that again the users will be able to see Tom's folder, but I don't want this, so I'm going to change the permissions and disable the inheritance, copy over the permissions, remove the permissions for the users, and only add Tom to have modify and write and read permissions. So if I press OK, now my folders are separated so that the users cannot browse each other's home folders. So what I'm going to do next, now that I have Anna and Tom, I'm going to copy over their documents and all their information. For example, from their computers. Usually users tend to use the desktop or their C drive documents folder to store most of the important documents, and for example when the computer fully crashes, after that they go ahead and yell at you that you don't have a backup of that, why you don't have a backup. So it's a good thing to advise your users when you have home folders in place to store all of the important information under their home folders. So I'm going to copy over some information, and I'm going to proceed with creating the replication to DFS02. Now that I've copied their desktops and their documents, I'm going to show you Anna desktop and documents folder. On the desktop, Anna has the NLB solutions logo, which is really nice, and under documents she has an important document with a lot of important information in it, so we need to replicate that as well and make sure that it's highly available. And Tom, on his desktop, he has the contact card for Nick the IT guy. I guess that everyone needs a contact card when something happens with his or his computer to contact the IT guy. So yeah, he has confidential information, and in here, oh, you can see that if Nick fails with DFS, he's going to be fired. So yeah, let me try to configure the DFS because I don't want to lose my job. So I'm going to go to the replication and add a new replication group, and I'm going to use the multi-purpose replication group. This group is going to configure replication between 2 or more servers, and it's going to share the documents between them, and it's going to store copies of the information on both servers. So I want that, and I'm going to click next. I'm going to name the replication group, for example, home folder replication, and I'm going to use my domain to store the replication information here. You can have optional description if you want. I'm going to click next, and I'm going to add the servers that are going to be members of this replication group. These are going to be my DFS R1 and DFS R2 servers. So I'm going to click next. In here you will have 3 options. The bottom one is no topology, which you will have to manually create how you want the files and folders to be replicated, only one-sided, for example, only from server 1 to server 2, or from server 2 to server 1. The first option is the hub and spoke. In this option you will need to have at least 3 servers or more, and basically what it will do is you will have a central server, a central DFS server, and that DFS will replicate all the information to the other members of the DFS replication. I don't want this, because if my central server fails, that means that the members won't be able to pick up information and pick up the latest information. So I want to go with full mesh. And what does that mean is that every single server will replicate all the information in my environment and will have all the up-to-date files. So I'm going to stick with full mesh and click next. The next window, you can configure the schedule for the replication and the bandwidth. You can be really granular with this. If you go on the below option, you can edit the schedule, and you can specify, for example, if you are working in a huge environment and during the day a lot of people are using the broadband, doing the replication on a full bandwidth can make some issues for the users. So for example, if your working days or if your working hours start from 8 to 6, you can specify that from this time you will only use 1 megabit per second for the replication, and during the other time you can specify that you want this to be the full bandwidth for the replication, because on the outside of working hours hopefully no one will work, so the replication could work. So I will cancel this and we'll go to replicate continuously and using the full bandwidth. So I'm going to click next. The primary member of my DFS replication will be the DFSR01, because on DFSR01, if you remember, I've configured the namespace and I configured the home folders for Anna and Tom. So I'm going to choose DFS01 and press next. And I'm going to specify the local path for the server to replicate. So I'm going to browse and replicate the home folders. Going to click OK. And the username is going to be based on the path name. If you want, you can create a custom name for that replication. You can change even the permissions, but I want to keep the existing permissions because I've already set that. And I'm going to click OK and click next. So the primary member will be DFSR01 and the primary member local path will be e-home folders, and I'm going to I have to set the local path on DFSR02. I'm going to edit, and here it's currently disabled, so I'm going to enable and click browse. Go to the disk, that partition that we configured for the data, and make a new folder there called home folder, and press enter, press OK. So now it's going to replicate the data to the local home folder on DFSR02, and press. You can specify here if you want this replicated folder to be read-only. I want, for example, if users are going to use the DFSR02 to connect to the shares and modify them from there, it's a good idea to leave that unchecked and click OK. Click next. And this will bring me a summary of what it will configure now. So I'm going to click create. And really fast it's going to create all of the settings that I've specified above. And here you have a warning, because in the past there were some issues with the staging folder. And what is the staging folder? Basically it's a folder where the changes, when a user makes a change to a file or creates a new document, this staging quota will keep this document until it's fully replicated to the partner. So Microsoft in the past had issues with the staging quota, where, for example, if you create that quota to be not large enough, it can remove some of the changes that the users made, so it can make issues for you. So the best way to try to figure out how big the quota for you should be is you should look at the biggest files of the replication and sum them up and see what will be the total capacity of the biggest files. So that is the minimum that you need to set for your quota for the replication. So let me close that. So the replication, it's saying that the replication will not begin until the scheduled time is configured, and yeah, it depends on the Active Directory services replication latency as well, and the pooling interval. So I'm going to click OK. Here under replication, now we have the home folder replication. I can see the members. I can see the home folders for the two members. I missed an SC, but this is not going to make any issues. I can see the staging quota for my files and documents. Here I can see the connectors for the two servers, and the replicated folders is the home folder. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to right click on home folder, and we'll verify the topology to be sure that the replication is working fine. So it's fully connected, data can replicate, so I'm going to click OK to this, and I'm going to switch over to DFS 02. I will need to log into the server because it's currently locked, and if I go to data E, I can see that I have the home folder created, and under there I have Anna with her desktop and the NLB logo and the documents, important document, it's there, and the other folder for Tom, which is the desktop and with my contact card. So I'm going to perform a test right now to be sure that the replication is working both sides. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another shared folder under the home folder, and I'm going to name that folder test, just for replication test. So if I switch to DFS 1, I can see that the test is there. So the replication from my DFS 02 to DFS 01 is working. I'm going to check once again with creating a small text document with test document, and in there I will specify that it's working. So this is already saved. I'm going to switch to DFS 02. Let me open the test document. Working. So my DFS is working, my replication is working, and what I'm going to do next is I'm going to switch to my Windows 10 machine, and I'm going to log in with Anna and map her home folder. So I'm going to log in with another user. Oh, I forgot Anna's password. Now I'm going to log in with Anna's account. Now that I'm into Anna's profile, I'm going to open the File Explorer. And in here, I'm going to use Computer, Map Network Drive, and I'm going to use the letter H for Home, and I'm going to map Anna's home folder. So this is going to be NLB Lab, and then Home Folders, and then Anna. Let's see if I spelled that correctly. I added the space. Let me remove the space from that and finish. Yep, it accepted that, and now I can see that Anna has her own home folder, and this home folder is under NLB Lab. So here I have my NLB logo, which is accessible. Let me open that with Paint. There it is. And I have the Documents folder with the really important information in it. What I'm going to try, just for test, is I'm going to map Tom's shared folder here to see if my permissions are working correctly. So NLB Lab shared home folders Tom, and it's asking me for credentials because Anna does not have the permissions to access Tom's folder. So if I access, for example, the NLB Lab / home folders, I'll be able to see that I currently have two users, Anna and Tom, and when I try to open Tom, it will say that I do not have permissions to look into Tom's documents, and when I try to open Anna, I can see that I have permissions. So I guess this is working, but just for testing purposes, to see if the replication is fully working, Anna will ask me to create another folder for her, which is going to be called Company Details. So in there, Anna will have an Excel worksheet that will be for the company prices. And let me see now, if I switch to my DFS 02, I can see that under home folder and Anna, I have the company details, and in there I have the company prices XLS Excel sheet. Let me switch to DFS 01 and minimize this. Okay, under Anna I have again the company details folder and the Excel spreadsheet. So now, as my DFS namespace is fully configured with Tom and Anna only, I can continue and configure my other users in my domain, and hopefully I won't lose my job as an IT guy, and will continue to bring some interesting videos to you guys. So this is the overview of how you can create a DFS namespace and DFS replication in Windows Server 2012 R2. I hope that you've enjoyed the video. If you did, you can like. If you didn't like this video, you can click dislike button, and if you have a comment or if you have any questions, you can put them in the section below, so I will try to answer them when I can. So thank you very much for viewing, and see you soon.